On today's video, our first ever Galaxy Summit War has gone by and it was rough. In this video, we're going to talk about everything you need to know about this event, what we learned out of our first fight, as well as what really needs to be improved in this game mechanics in general, as well as in war mechanics, as Lord have mercy, there is some messed up things. And of course, that y'all know when we're going to stream a Galaxy Summit War between myself and my team and Chisco Gaming from Nebulon 13. So sit back, slap a like on the video, and let's go. Hey there, YouTube. Welcome back to Galactic Gecko. Now, granted, for the record, I got kicked out of the event. The recording stopped, so I had to restart the recording. So we're about a minute-ish into the fight. Problem is, I got kicked out of the event, had to redo my fleets. It was a pain in the butt. So just so you know, the event doesn't start exactly like this. It starts with both sides having none of the nodes, and you just got to fly through, pick up the nodes, and then you meet in the middle for the big bonanza. Now, the way this event works is pretty simple. You select your flagship, you select your fleets, and you go wild. Whenever your fleet is not in combat, you can then go on and click on your fleet up above me and just refresh the warships consistently over and over and over. The warships that you lose in these fights don't die, but you cannot reuse them. So obviously, you're going to run out of warships as this event is going by. So for the first time in a while, having a boatload of frigates or a boatload of whatever on Earth you're using, cruisers or even destroyers is really, really good. We're going to train a ton now because we know that we're going to need them for this type of event. But the way this event works is pretty simple. There are 3 avenues. You meet in them. You fight for the fortress. Once your team has taken over the fortress, you then either defend it or move forward. The more you progress through the map, the more buffs are available and unlocked for you, so the harder it is for the other team to come back once they are on their back foot. This is all about a game of numbers, but there are a few tips and tricks that utilize some of the mechanics in this game in order to get awesome results. So here's a small example. In Infinite Galaxy, so long as you're within a battle, your fleet is locked in the battle until it ends, which is one of the most annoying mechanics in this game, because what you are seeing right here is a group of them that essentially locked me in. Now, granted, for them, this was a takeover, so they really quickly went on and got it done. But what you're going to see next is our headquarters. They're going to get closer and closer to our headquarters into 14, into 13. And what they ended up deploying is a nice tactic where a few of them would hit the building, locking everybody in there for a while. The vast majority of them would then fly closer to the building. And once the few finished hitting the building, only the mass hit again. And in that process, our fleets were locked into fight. We did not have enough time to refresh them because instantly another fight happened. And they had time to get more power in there so that instead of them funneling one by one while we destroy them, they had 2 or 3 that remained, or 4 that remained in that fight locked in while the rest of them came and converged. So one of the things that freaking Camel really need to fix is the fact that fleets get locked into a fight and you're screwed. You can see Uncle B right now has like 53 million power against the 59, which is a decently even situation, but I, for example, had no ability to get out of this scenario at all. Thankfully for me, my fight was happening on the field, so as soon as these guys, we managed to get out, I was like, go back to headquarters right now. But when you're locked in a fight, it's just like, all right, gotta wait. And when it ends, if they initiate a fight quicker, then we're screwed. Now, you're noticing that my game is going to have some micro stutter freezes, one that you saw right there. That kept happening throughout the event. Now, I am not using a phone or a small device or a bad device. I'm using a Tab S7 Plus, which is one of the latest tablets available for Android. It runs is the latest and greatest technology as far as Android tablets are concerned, and it still micro stocks consistently. You're going to be seeing the little freezes for at least 5 or 6 more times throughout this. Another thing that is really annoying about this game mode is that at every single week, you're able to challenge an attack as well as take a challenge of defense. However, if I challenge you, you cannot decline the challenge, which means you are going to either have to show up by force or you're going to lose rankings because I caught you on downtime. the leader of We Are Ronin, shout out to them, great crew, told me that later. He hit me up on Discord. It's like, yo, were you recording? I was like, yeah, well, this is not fair. You guys had 48 people here and we had like 29. This is like our downtime. And he said, yeah, we were kind of banking on that. And I was like, it makes sense. Smart move by him, right? Awesome stuff. Not blaming him at all. But in a game mode where rankings are determined based on winning and losing, if you win, you gain points. If you lose points. How can I not decline a challenge when someone is clearly utilizing my downtime to take away points from me? And so we are trying now to figure out which teams kind of have a good uptime so that we can actually have fights. And I don't, for the record, We Are Ronin, no, not blaming them, not throwing shade at them at all. It's just, it's stupid that you cannot decline a challenge. We have already been challenged for the next 2 weeks as well. So what? Now we cannot set any more fights because someone randomly decided to set a fight on us and we can't decline it. Luckily enough, we managed to get a hold of EQ and the folks of Nebula 13, and we're going to have an awesome fight against Chisco Gaming's crew and EQ and them on the 29th, and I'll be streaming that, so we're going to have a lot of fun. So hopefully you subscribe down below, hit that bell to know when that is out. I think we're going to do it on the main channel, though, and so it's going to be a fun time, but I'm trying to think, like, how can we organize these things and get, like, good fights going when someone can abuse our downtime? Now, there is a mechanism of a cooldown, like a truce period, 12 hours in which you cannot do anything. You cannot challenge a team, but really, like, 12 hours is quite a small window. You're requiring the ability for a big portion of an alliance to be there for 12 for any time within a 12-hour gap. And while that's not too unreasonable, I still don't know whether just allowing people to just challenge whenever is just a good idea. I would definitely say there should be some sort of a veto system where you can veto out, let's say, 2 or 3 challenges a week. And again, it's bad for you if you're not defending and attacking every week, because if you're able to defend and attack in good times, then you are set to potentially be number 1, right? And so I think that there has to be a veto system that will allow teams to do what they got to do. In this particular scenario, we actually have no idea what was going on. I am not so sure whether this is until everybody zeroed or what is going on, but these guys had absolutely destroyed our fort. They won the fight. You can see them going back, but they went back and it didn't end. According to the rules, once they destroy our battle headquarters, it's over. But they actually did it like 3 or 4 times, and it was weird. It was like, we just can't get a break. And now that we're there in our headquarters, every time we try to get out to go to 13 or 14 to try to do something, they just catch us in the middle of the of space. And so you don't really need to even defend your own buildings anymore. All you got to do is you got to leave one person behind on the one side of the teleport Stargate and another person on the other side. So you can leave 4 people, 4 fleets on each side of those 13 and 14, and they will block pretty much anything coming to attack the buildings. And that's what happened. I managed to sneak through, and someone caught me on the way. And then we managed to sneak another person through, and then they caught us along the way. Now, once we started doing that a couple more times, you'll see that in this video, we managed to take 14 and 13 back for a little bit, and even one of our guys managed to book it all the way to 12 and then to 9. But when you can get caught in the middle of space and you cannot move, because in this game, once you start a fight, you stop, fight it out, and only after the fight ends, you can keep doing what you want to do. It's just too rough. It's just too rough. I like how this event is laid out. I think that it has a ton of optimization it needed. You need to be able to not get locked in by someone. Look, they're literally keeping someone next to the Stargate. Good for them, by the way. I'm not complaining about them whatsoever. They're playing the mechanics correctly. But they're leaving people just to hold us from being able to push forward and sending their guys to consistently harass our headquarters. And that leaves 0 space for a team that has no clue what they're doing. What would I say you should do? A group, first and foremost, avoid fighting in open space. The number one mistake we all made was that we kept helping the fights in open space. If someone gets caught in open space, do not help them. Continue without them, because open space is just a way to stop you from progressing. You really want to be moving towards the buildings and maintain the fights strictly at the buildings. If someone gets caught on the way, leave them be. It sucks. We had a scenario, I think that we passed it already, where one of our guys got out there, Cam, you can see him on the screen in a little bit, and he got caught in the middle of the field, and a ton of people joined him. And so on their side, they joined too, because they don't care. They just keep us locked in. You can see myself and Riffin tried to sneak out. Nope. No sneaking out for us. These guys are here. These guys are in space. And now that they caught us, they're reinforcing to get rid of us quickly, and then they're going to stay there. And you can see more of our guys kept trying to get out, but you can't, unless you're in voice and you're extremely coordinated, you can't really do much. And some of our guys see the open field fights and those things. They're like, you know what, let's go help out. And that just doesn't help. The bottom line, this event can be better. It has a lot of improvements it needs. We're really going to need to figure out war-wise how Camel can make it so that we can move in space and not just get stuck. And you can see they're pretty much locking us in with 13 million power, while the rest of their people are making their way into this area. And we can't do anything about it. We just straight up can't do anything about it. Every time I try to get out, I try to do something, I get kicked out of the building because I run out of fleets. I refilled, they automatically refill. I come back out and get caught, and that's that. And so, first and foremost, fix the war mechanics really badly. Secondly, markers and coordination. The only way to do anything, and at this point I was just dumping fleets just to see what we're doing. It was over by a lot. And I was just trying to get out here. And every time I tried to get out, I almost did. You can see Riffin is trying. You can see Rico's trying. A bunch of us kept trying. And I actually managed to make it through the to the Stargate itself. But yeah, I got caught right before that level 14, that outpost 14. I almost yoinked that. The timing wasn't good enough. And these guys saw me. One guy came in just in time to defend it. You can see right there. And then it says 4.7 against 6.7. I don't have the right warships. I don't have the right flagships. This guy's like, we good. Don't worry about it. We're holding. You guys don't need to be here. No one's making it through anyway. Uncle B with a 12 million means that people just kept reinforcing him, which, again, no knowledge of the mechanics caused that scenario. I think that the war mechanics need to be thought of a little bit better. And I also definitely think the marker system needs to be thought of. If you look, you have that red circle where you can place, like, you can click on a place in space and then click on the circle, and it like says we should go here. But there is no other way. If you do it on a building, nothing shows up on the screen. Nothing shows up on the screen. Secondly, you can only put like one marker. So it's like, go here, go here, go here, and the previous one goes away. And thirdly, like, we can't coordinate unless you have voice chat or something like that. It's really, really, really hard to coordinate. Some of us were in voice chat, but we had no clue what was going on. We managed to sneak into 13. Angry Haggis managed to get out here, and then we kind of tried to see if we can defend this a little bit. But again, every time we tried to get out to defend it, it just got worse and worse. So Sin coming through, and all these guys, you can see they're already gunning it to the open field. Some of them to hit us. And so we came in. I got caught trying to get into the defense. You can see half of our guys get caught on the way to try to defend, and then they come in and just take it back. Overall, the experience wasn't bad. The experience was one that says there's a lot of improvement needed for a fairly new event that is relatively in its bare bones as of right now. But if Infinite Galaxy wants to have a good Nebula versus Nebula event coming in the future, as well as make this event more competitive and more interesting, I mean, they're going to have to do something, because their war mechanics simply are simply too restrictive, and the ability of 3 people to divert the attention and lock in a full team worth of fleets who had no way to react to that is kind of frustrating. We obviously 100% lost this fight. We are Ronin had, I think, 48, 49 people active, and we had 28, 29. You'll see at the end the result. Shout out to them. Great fight. Congrats on the win. We challenged them back this time on our uptime to see how they handle that. So hopefully our results will be a little bit different, and maybe not. Maybe we get wrecked again. And of course, we'll bring you that video as part 2 to this continuation. Now, obviously, majority of us all of us had no idea what we were doing. Yes, Dragothian, one of the content creators for Infinite Galaxy, had streamed his event, but nobody showed up on the other side. So while we did watch to see how this works, we didn't know about any fighting because he just simply went through all the nodes, got to the HQ, and poof, it went, and that's it. So we learned a lot. We have a new strategy in place. We have pretty much an idea on what we want to get done, and we're about to employ it. We have our attack fight coming up in the near future. If y'all want to see full matches of this thing, leave me a comment down below and let me know if you wanted me to maybe make highlight videos every time we do this, because we're going to get about 2 of these every single week from here on out. So I don't really know how much of an interesting thing this would be. It would seem fairly repetitive. Again, you can see micro freezes all over the place, and trust me when I tell you, don't blame the device, because this device has played much more intensive games with hundreds and hundreds of marches on the field, animations everywhere, and everything ran relatively smooth. No micro freezes, that's for hella sure. And so, yeah, this something's not adding up here. We keep trying. You can see right there that Go S15X9Y18 you see on the screen right there was Riffin showing me like you can do, like, I can click on the red thing to put the marker down. That was just not really useful. Not really useful at all. So I'm like, I don't know. I have my reservations. I think that this event can be fantastic, but again, if we can get challenged during our downtime and at the same time not be able to do anything about it, and at the same time end up losing ranking for it, it leaves too much open doors for essentially people who are looking to win over looking to play. And then those who are looking to play end up getting screwed because they cannot also be competitive because they keep getting challenged during their downtime. And so it's a weird situation. One more thing you should know, you need to be a week inside an alliance. And funny enough, 2 days before the event came out, we did a nice little merger where we now are 3 billion power strong. And, well, pretty much half of our alliance was gone. On top of that, Galaxy Star event was going on. People left the alliance to do Galaxy Star event and just couldn't play the event because of that. So no more leaving your alliance for Galaxy Star duels. If you want to do duels, you got to do them with other alliances. You can't do it with your own people. If you leave the alliance, no Galaxy Summit for you for the next week, which we probably would have liked to know ahead of time. Not a big deal. Most of our guys will be ready. All of our guys should be ready for the fight against Chiskel. But in the coming couple of fights, in our next attack against IOD, I believe, again, a huge chunk of our people are just not going to be available to play because you got to be a week in the alliance, and they're just not going to be there. Anyway, this is about to end. We were kind of getting smashed over and over and over and over in our headquarters, and they kept going back over and over. And so I don't really understand if this is if what happened here is that we went down to 0 or not. I never refreshed my fleets at this point. I just let them go through. At some point, they also hit over 100 million power, which was very, very nice on their hit on us. I think our max was like 78 million on a defense. But again, 29 people against 40 some. So keep that in mind. Ooh, I didn't even notice that our training ended there. Anyway, this I think is the last time they hit us. I feel like this was the time where it finally realized that maybe this is over. You can see again, it reset again. We're down to 53 mil again. And these guys are hitting us again. And we're just like, what the frick is going on? This should have ended, and then it actually ended. 48 against 29, 117 million to the 98 million points, minus 350 points on the rankings for us. Boo-hoo. GG, we are Ronin. I'm Gecko. I'm out of here. Appreciate it. Drop a like on this video, subscribe down below, and I'll see you in the next Infinite Galaxy video. Take care and have a good one. Peace.